So I had a call with founder today that basically just reaffirmed for me everything that I've been teaching and everything that I've been saying. So I am Sharman. I'm a nonprofit consultant. I work with social and environmental impact organizations to create community-centered organizations and build solid foundations using branding, communication, strategic planning, and collaboration strategies. And one of the things that I really talk about is how important it is to lay that foundation, right? Often, as nonprofit founders, I did it myself as well when I started a nonprofit organization. But we just jump right in, right? We see a need and we dive right in. And we're like, we've got a solution. We can fix this. We know how to do this. We're usually part of this community, right? And so it is something that becomes really personal and just a huge passion that continues to drive us. And we are just service oriented and solutions oriented. And we never really think about like the business side of a nonprofit organization. Now, as someone who is all about building like liberatory designs, I don't necessarily subscribe to like capitalism in that theory. However, I recognize that there are some business aspects of our organization that is really important to get down and get started. And mostly that is having strategy, that is having really good systems, and that is having storytelling. It's not about like, exploiting people and not paying people, living wages. We don't want to do that, right? It can be really difficult sometimes as we're, struggling nonprofits and coming up. But again, it's essentially about strategy and knowing your limits. But the things that are important and the things from business that we should take is making sure that we have that strong strategy, strong systems, and really good storytelling. So back to this conversation that I had with a founder of one of the orgs that I have worked with. And it was so interesting because her story mirrors mine so much, because she has been in the nonprofit industry, right? She has been doing it. She has been putting together reports and all that information and all that data. And she's seen it done over and over again. But she was just telling me how in her mind, she was just thinking, oh, it's just for the grants, or this is just something like my boss is making me do just to like make sure I'm doing my work, right? It's busy work almost, but it's also being used for grants. And it wasn't until that she started her nonprofit organization that she realized that there was so much that she just didn't know, right? She didn't realize that all of that information that they were gathering, all of those numbers, all those statistics, all that data was not just being used to apply for grants. It's being used, for compliance for their 501c3. It's stuff that they need for their 990. It's like all of that, right? It's even now, because their organization has become so influential in the city, it is numbers and data that their city government is actually asking for now. Like, we need these numbers because of the people that you work with. And it's become so important because she just really wished that she understood that from the beginning. And it is one of the things that I teach, that, hey, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And so we walk you through these steps of just making sure that you have some type of measurable impact, even if that is qualitative data. But you understand the impact that you are having on your community. You understand the change that is happening from the work that you are doing. I cannot stress how important it is to have this information and to start as early as possible. Like, I feel like I did plenty of things wrong when I was doing my nonprofit. There was I brought in some of the wrong people. I wasn't really strategic about how I was thinking about building my team and building my board. I was just like, I just need people, and anybody that is interested can come on in, right? But what I did do well and what I did get right was this number system. And it's probably because I am a researcher by trade. But that I was able to do, right? That I was able to keep track of the different ways that we were having some type of impact, the things that people were saying about us, things that people were talking about, the way, our organization was helping them. That was just really important information and really important data. And I want people to think, it's not just for grants and it's not just for compliance. These are things that help your organization understand like where you're moving. Like if you don't start out looking at this stuff, if you don't start out documenting these things, then 3 years in, you don't necessarily know how far you've come. You may feel it a little bit. You feel like there's more work. You feel like there's more people coming in. But if you start out early, if you know this information early, if you know, hey, we're helping like 5 people a year, when you're suddenly helping like 5 people a month, that information is documented and it's crystal clear, and you understand like how much you have grown in a specific number of time, or a specific period of time. Number, it's okay. We gonna get our words right. We gonna get them right. But this is just why it's so important, right? Because as I was talking in another video about success and defining success, and then being able to measure that success in some way. Again, yeah, grantors, funders, donors, contributors to your organization want these things, and they want those numbers, and they want to understand, what you're doing. But if nothing else, it is just good information for you, right? It's good to know like the impact that your programming is having. It's good to know that you're growing, within your community, that people are really beginning to know what you do, and they're beginning to understand where you are, and you're just, you're growing in that aspect, and just an awareness that you're growing in your impact, that you're growing in the number of people that you're able to help or to serve. All of this stuff is important just for your own self, for your own organization, to see your growth. So you can stop telling yourself that you're not really doing anything right. We're getting rid of that that quote unquote imposter syndrome, because you're going to be able to see it, because you're starting with your numbers and you're starting now. So I'm telling you now, build that foundation, start locking in that data now. And that data is really important part of your foundation, because essentially it's just where you're starting, right? You have those numbers so you know where you started. And that's all it is. That's all it is. And if that's how you think of it, instead of like thinking, oh my gosh, I have to have this for grants, and like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I have to have this for compliance, just think of it, it's just for me. This is just information for me to know where we started, so that 5 years down the line, we know where we've gone and where we've come from, and how fast we've grown, if we've been growing fast or not growing at all. And and of course you don't want to wait like 5 years down the line to be like, oh wait, nothing's happening, we're not moving the needle in any type of way. You definitely want to like check things before then. But you're not going to know if you don't have that information. And the only way you're going to have that information is if you start now, right? So the best time is to start right when you're starting your organization, right when you're starting your programming, even before you have your 501c, with just like the community events or organizations that you're going. If you know that eventually you want to turn this into a nonprofit organization, the second the second you start doing something, start counting, start doing some numbers, figure out how you're going to measure this. Even if it is like, hey, I think it's good, even if like we start thinking about this 5 years later, that you're able to connect with somebody who you started with in the beginning and was like, hey, like I would love to talk to you, and figure out how your life has changed since, that time we met. What's different from now? Because those are some beautiful case studies, right? Those are some beautiful stories that you want to tell, in not an exploitive manner, because we're doing this in collaboration with our community and making sure people's stories are being told in a manner that they want them told. But again, important information. Keep yourself sane. Keep yourself, cheering on every little step that you take. And the way you do that is by collecting this information. I'll catch you guys later.